I got a call from my husband. He was crying, saying he'd been kidnapped. I ripped the 4 out of my arm in the delivery room and ran to save him, blood soaking the floor beneath my feet. My baby died on the way. Later I learned the truth. That day, he was negotiating with the kidnappers about how to scare me into miscarrying, so I'd be forced to give up my inheritance. I hid behind a shipping container and recorded every word he said about wanting me dead. At his engagement party, I pressed play with my own hand. The contractions felt like a hand twisting my insides. I clutched the bed rail, my nails almost digging into the metal. The doctor shouted, "Don't move! The fetal heart rate is dropping." The phone rang. It was Lucas. My hands were shaking as I answered. His voice was broken, soaked in tears. "Grace, I've been kidnapped. Please save me." My stomach seized hard. Pain exploded behind my eyes. The doctor snatched the phone. "She could die. Do you have any idea she's in labor?" All I heard on the other end was Lucas sobbing. "Please save me. They want money." I'm scared. I looked at the monitor. The baby's heartbeat was falling. "Address." My teeth were chattering. "Give me the address." The doctor pressed me down. "If you leave, that's 2 lives you're risking." I didn't listen. I pulled out the needle. Blood ran down my thighs, warm and slick. I leaned on the wall and stumbled out, every step like walking on blades. A nurse screamed behind me. I drove. My hands shook so badly I could barely hold the steering wheel. Blood soaked into the seat. The address was an abandoned factory on the west side of the city. I got lost. The baby started moving violently, struggling. I turned onto a narrow road and saw lights from the factory. And laughter. I parked, clutched my stomach, and staggered behind a shipping container. Lucas's voice, clear as day. "This time it'll work. She'll definitely bring the money." Another man laughed. "What is this? The 10th time? Boss, you're ruthless. Last time, to trick her into selling her shares, you cut off your own finger. She cried all night. The time before that, you said loan sharks were after you. Her brother Ethan stepped in for you and he's still in the ICU. She's about to give birth this time. And you still went through with it?" Lucas lit a cigarette. "Kids can come later. If I don't force her to sign away the inheritance this time, my dad's side will find out." A sharp, tearing pain exploded in my abdomen. More warm liquid poured down my legs. "My baby!" I bit down hard on the back of my hand so I wouldn't scream. My phone was in my pocket. I hit record. "When she gets here, act more convincing," Lucas said. "If she faints from fear, even better. If she miscarries, that's fine too, less trouble later." I slid down against the container until I was sitting on the ground. Blood spread across the concrete. This time, I didn't rush out. I recorded every single word. Then I turned around and dragged myself back the way I came. Before my vision went dark, I saw the trail of blood I'd left behind, long and red, like a road. I collapsed. When I woke up, everything was white. The ceiling, the walls, the sheets. My stomach was empty. I touched it, flat. Just pain. The door flew open. Lucas rushed in, bruises on his face, clothes torn. He threw himself beside the bed, eyes red. "Grace, you're awake." "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." He grabbed my hand. His hand was shaking. "What about the baby?" I asked. Tears fell from his eyes. "Gone. The doctors said you were brought in too late." "I'm sorry. It's my fault." I stared at the bruise on his face. Same spot as 3 months ago, when he said a client had hit him. I pulled my hand away. "How did they let you go?" I asked. He froze for a second, then dropped to his knees, pressing his forehead against the bed. I fought my way out. "Grace, I almost died there. I just wanted to come back to you." He cried so hard his whole body shook. "Let's get a divorce," I said. The crying stopped abruptly. He looked up, tears still in his eyes, but his expression had changed. "What? Divorce?" I repeated. He stood up, his mouth twitching. "You just had a miscarriage. You're emotionally unstable. I don't blame you. I want a divorce." "Impossible!" he suddenly yelled. "You want a divorce now? Ethan's still in the ICU. Who's paying the medical bills? How are you going to take care of him?" I stared at him. He took a deep breath and softened his voice. "Grace, I know you're in pain. I'm in pain too. That was our child. But now isn't the time. When Ethan recovers. When your body heals. We'll talk. Okay? He reached out to touch my face. I turned away. Get some rest, he said, turning to leave. At the door, he paused. Don't overthink it. I'll always love you. The door closed. I lay there for 10 minutes. Then I pulled out the fork and got out of bed barefoot. Pain tore through my wound. I clenched my teeth and shuffled toward the door. It wasn't fully closed. Lucas's voice drifted in from the hallway, cold. Not a trace of tears left. Keep her steady. If she divorces now, my dad's shares are gone, another man said. But she seems suspicious. So what? Lucas scoffed. The hospital's full of my people. Ethan's ventilator switch is in my hands. If she makes trouble, I'll let her brother die tonight. I covered my mouth. And besides, Lucas chuckled. She's just an asset. 8 years is long enough. Time to cash out. I leaned against the wall and slowly slid down. Blood seeped through my hospital gown, but I didn't feel any pain. Lucas came again that night, carrying a bowl of porridge, feeding me spoon by spoon. I opened my mouth and swallowed. He gently wiped the corner of my lips. Slow down. The divorce papers, have your lawyer send them tomorrow, I said. The spoon froze midair. He set the bowl down and sighed. Grace, why are you insisting on this? We're in trouble right now, but I'll protect you. Divorce won't benefit you. You'll have nothing. I already have nothing, I said, except Ethan. Ethan? He laughed. Do you know how much his treatment costs every day? Without me, you wouldn't even get through the ICU doors. My fingers clenched the sheets. And another thing. He leaned in, lowering his voice. Your dad's been dead for 8 years. The Carter Group collapsed long ago. You're just Grace Reed now, an ordinary woman. And I'm Lucas Reed, controlling 3 private hospitals. What do you think you can use to fight me? The wound on my abdomen throbbed. Sign away your inheritance and be Mrs. Reed in peace, he said, patting my head. I'll still treat you well, like before. Before? I looked up at him. Before? When you made me cut off my finger to cover your debts? Before? When you made my brother step in front of a car to clear your path? Before? When you lied to me 10 times about being in danger? That's what you call good? His face darkened. He slapped me hard across the face. My head snapped to the side. I tasted blood. Don't push your luck, he snarled, grabbing my hair. The papers come tomorrow. Sign. And Ethan lives. Don't sign. And he dies. Choose. He let go and walked out. I collapsed onto the bed. Blood poured from beneath the bandages on my abdomen, soaking the sheets red. Late at night, I heard voices outside the door. Lucas was on the phone. One last chance. If she doesn't sign tomorrow morning, pull the plug in the ICU. Make it clean. Footsteps faded away. My hands shaking. I reached under the pillow and pulled out my phone. That number, I hadn't dialed it in 8 years, but I knew it by heart. I pressed call. It rang 5 times. Then connected. No one spoke. I opened my mouth. My voice was so hoarse it didn't sound like my own. Dad, it's me. Silence on the line. Then a deep voice, one I could never mistake, even in death, said, I'm back. The call ended. I held the phone and stared into the pitch-black night outside the window. Dawn was coming. At 3 in the morning, the hospital room door was kicked open. 2 dark figures rushed in. Before I could scream, a cloth was clamped over my mouth and nose. A sharp, chemical smell. I passed out. When I woke up again, I was on cold concrete. My wrists were tied. Above me, rusted steel beams. An abandoned warehouse. A screen lit up in front of me. A video call. Lucas's face appeared, frantic and panicked. Grace, where are you? Don't be afraid, I'm coming to save you. A masked man spoke. His voice distorted. Lucas Reed, your wife and your lover are both in my hands. Choose one to live. The camera shifted. Another woman was tied to a pillar beside me. Ivy, Lucas's secretary. The woman he openly brought to business dinners. His so-called confidant. She was crying hysterically. Lucas, save me. I'm pregnant, it's your baby. My abdominal wound was still bleeding, but my mind was razor clear. Lucas broke down on the screen. Let them go. I'll pay anything, any amount. Only one lives. The kidnapper said. Choose. If you don't, both die. A countdown appeared. 60 seconds. Ivy screamed. Choose me, Lucas. I'm carrying your bloodline. I looked at Lucas on the screen. He clutched his head in agony, but his eyes kept darting away. 50 seconds. Grace. He suddenly said to me, be strong. Ivy, she has a child. You understand, right? I smiled. Understand. Of course I understood. 40 seconds. Please, Lucas. I said softly, weakly. Choose me, just once. It was the first time in 8 years I had ever begged him. He froze. 30 seconds. Ivy screamed like she'd gone mad. You can't choose her. She's useless. I'm the one who can give you a son. 20 seconds. Lucas stared at both of us, lips trembling. 10 seconds. He closed his eyes and pointed at Ivy. Let her go. The kidnapper laughed. You sure? I'm sure. The countdown hit 0. The ropes around Ivy were cut. She rushed toward the camera, sobbing thank you. I was left tied to the pillar. The screen went black. The warehouse was silent, except for Ivy's crying fading into the distance. Outside, I heard an engine start. Lucas's voice was gentle, soothing. It's okay, baby. We're going home. I opened my mouth to scream. No sound came out. Blood kept flowing from my abdomen, pooling on the floor. The engine started, then drove away. The world went quiet. I lowered my head and looked at the ropes around my wrists. 8 years, 10 fake rescues, 1 severed finger, 1 brother critically injured, 1 child dead. And in return, when forced to choose between me and his lover, he chose her. I laughed, and laughed until tears fell, but they only lasted 3 seconds. I lifted my head. Lucas Reed, I said to the empty air. I will leave you with nothing. Dawn broke. The warehouse doors were pushed open. Light stabbed inside. I squinted. The doorway was filled with people, not kidnappers. Reporters. Cameras, long lenses. Flashing lights aimed straight at me. That's her. Cheating during marriage and got kidnapped. She deserved it. Mr. Lucas saved her out of kindness and she's still ungrateful. A camera shoved right into my face. I was wearing nothing but a blood-stained hospital gown. Hair a mess. A woman rushed forward and pointed at me. You slut. Having an affair and dragging Miss Ivy into this. Do you know she's pregnant? She shoved me. Pain tore through my wound and I fell to the ground. The reporters went insane, snapping photos. Look at her. Disgusting. Poor Mr. Lucas married a woman like this. I pushed myself up, trying to stand. Someone shoved me down again. Then a voice cut through the chaos. Stop! Lucas rushed in, forcing his way through the crowd. He took off his jacket, wrapped it around me, and lifted me into his arms. I'm sorry, Grace. I'm late. His eyes were red as he faced the cameras. Please don't hurt her. She just had a miscarriage. She's already suffering. The reporters softened instantly. Mr. Lucas is such a devoted husband. Still protecting her after everything, he carried me out and put me into the car. The door closed. He let go of me immediately, pulled out a wet wipe, and wiped his hands. How did the footage turn out? He asked his assistant in the front seat. Perfect. It's trending already. Hashtag the perfect husband Lucas. Good. Lucas leaned back. Take her to the hospital. Let her rest well. I closed my eyes and pretended to be unconscious. I was taken back to the hospital. The same room. The doctor treated my wound roughly. I clenched my teeth and didn't make a sound. Mr. Lucas instructed that you need strict bed rest. The doctor said. Please cooperate and don't wander. The door was locked. I was a prisoner. The TV was on, replaying the news of Lucas's devoted rescue of his wife on loop. The comments were filled with people cursing me. My phone was gone, but under my pillow, there was an envelope. I opened it. 2 photos inside. The first, my father, William Carter, sitting on a private jet, reading documents, taken 1 week ago. The second, Ethan, lying in a hospital bed, eyes open, smiling at the camera. On the back, 1 word was written, wait. My heart pounded wildly. Dad really had come back. Ethan had woken up. I swallowed the photos whole. That night, Lucas came. He carried a glass of red wine. In a good mood. Top trending, he said, swirling the glass. The whole internet is on my side now. Grace. If you sign the agreement, I can still let you save some face. I glanced at the TV. How far along is Ivy's baby? His smile stiffened. None of your business. When you chose her, did you know I would die? He put down his wine and walked over, gripping my chin. I knew. But if you didn't die, how would I inherit the Carter estate? Your dad may have been dead, but the shares were still in your name. If you died, I'd be the legal spouse and automatically inherit everything. I laughed. I see. What's so funny? He frowned. Funny how stupid you are. I said, my dad's inheritance has long been in a trust. If I die, you won't get a dime. His face changed. I continued, and who told you my dad was dead? He let go and took a step back. What did you say? The hospital room door burst open. An assistant rushed in, pale as death. Boss, something's happened. The Carter Group website, the board list, it's been updated. Lucas snatched the tablet. On the screen, the Carter Group homepage. In the chairman's photo section, a face unchanged for 8 years. William Carter. Below the photo, in small text, effective immediately, returns to lead the group. Lucas's hand shook, and the tablet slipped from his grasp. He glared at me. You contacted him? I leaned back on the pillow. Calm. You tell me. Lucas lunged, gripping my shoulders. Your dad's not dead? Where has he been all these years? I winced from the pain but didn't say a word. His eyes reddened. Speak. Scared? I asked. He raised his hand to hit me, but his phone rang. It was Ivy. He answered, annoyed. What is it? Her voice on the line, whimpering. Lucas. I'm scared. Will Grace take revenge? Dad's back. What do we do? Shut up. He yelled. Stay put. He hung up, then looked at me and suddenly smiled. You think your dad coming back changes anything? He wiped a smear of blood from his lip. Grace, you're naive. This is a hospital. My hospital. He pulled out his phone and dialed. ICU. Pull Ethan Carter's tubes. I shot upright. You wouldn't dare. He stared at me. Do you see me doubting? On the line. A doctor hesitated. But, the patient is stable, I said. Pull them. Lucas enunciated each word. Accidental death. Got it? Got it. The call ended. A chill ran over me. Lucas leaned close, whispering. So your dad's back, what of it? His son dies tonight. Tell me, a father who just lost his child, will he even care about his daughter? He laughed and left the room. The door locked. I slammed myself against it, screaming, open the door! Let me out! No one answered. I slid to the floor, holding myself tight. Ethan. Right. The photo. Ethan was awake. He was awake. I crawled to the bed and felt under the mattress for a pen, hidden yesterday. I wrote on my arm, save Ethan. ICU. Tubes pulled. Finished. I ran to the window. We were on the 3rd floor. Below, a lawn. I tore the bed sheet and tied it into a rope, securing one end to the foot of the bed. The wound tore open, blood soaking the hospital gown. I didn't stop. I climbed out the window, lowering myself down. The rope was too short, still 2 meters from the ground. I let go and jumped. Pain shot through my ankles. I hit the grass hard. I got up, limping toward the ICU. The night nurse saw me and gasped. What are you, Ethan? I shoved her aside and ran in. Ethan's bed was empty. The tubes hung off the side. Machines all off. My legs gave out. I dropped to my knees. Footsteps approached behind me. I looked back. Lucas was standing in the doorway, recording with his phone. So touching, he said. Too bad I'm late. I stared at him. He smiled, walking closer. Your brother's dead. Now, you're alone. I lowered my head, shoulders trembling. He crouched, touching my head. Sign the agreement. I'll even let you attend the funeral with some dignity. I looked up, face calm, no tears, only a smile. Lucas, I said, look under the bed. He froze. Slowly, a hand reached out from beneath. Ethan crawled out from under the bed, pale, but eyes bright. He held a voice recorder. Sis, Ethan said, I recorded everything you just said about pulling the tubes. Lucas's smile froze, then shattered. 3 days later, I sat on a private jet, watching clouds roll past the window. Across from me, Ethan. He had recovered quickly, though still thin. Sis. He handed me a cup of water. Once we reach the island, follow the plan. I nodded. The plane landed on a private island surrounded by turquoise sea. This was Ivy's family estate, hosting the pre-engagement party for her and Lucas today. High society elites gathered. I wore a simple white dress and walked in unnoticed. From a distance, I saw Lucas. White suit, arm around Ivy, smiling widely. Ivy's hand sparkled with an enormous diamond ring. Reporters crowded around him. Mr. Lucas, we heard your ex-wife, Grace, suffered a mental breakdown and was hospitalized? Lucas sighed. Yes. Very sad. But she cheated. Self-harmed. I tried. Now I only want to look forward, give Ivy and the baby a home. Applause erupted. I raised a glass of champagne, sipping slowly. Nearby, people whispered, that Grace is crazy, refusing a perfect husband for an affair. I heard her dad was crazy too, committed suicide. Must be genetic. I put the glass down. Music started. Lucas led Ivy to the center, dropping to one knee. Ivy, he said, voice full of emotion. Marry me. I will spend my life making up for what you endured. Ivy cried, mascara running. The crowd cheered. I stood still, thinking of my wedding 8 years ago, in a small chapel, only a handful of guests. He said no money for a big wedding, promised to make it up later. Later, he said we'll see. Later still, he said, you're old now. What's the point? The diamond ring? He called diamonds an IQ tax. Now, the ring he gave Ivy, bigger than any diamond I'd ever seen. The host called out, will the bride-to-be please say I do? Ivy opened her mouth. Suddenly, the doors of the venue were slammed open. Lucas's assistant rushed in, drenched in sweat, voice hoarse. Boss, something's wrong. The music stopped. Lucas frowned. Can't you see what I'm doing right now? The assistant leaned in close and whispered something into his ear. Lucas's face instantly drained of color, white as paper. He snapped his head toward me. I raised my champagne glass slightly in his direction. The assistant's voice, accidentally amplified through the microphone Lucas was still holding, rang through the entire hall. William Carter is alive. He's already arrived on the island. Dead silence. The doors opened again. A man in a black suit walked in. Early 60s. Silver hair neatly combed. Eyes sharp as a hawk's. William Carter. My father. After 8 years. He looked almost unchanged. Behind him followed 6 bodyguards in black, and a team of lawyers in formal suits. The hall was so quiet you could hear breathing. Lucas let go of Ivy's hand and stumbled back a step. My father walked straight to the center and took the microphone. Lucas Reed. His voice was low, amplified through the speakers, vibrating in everyone's chest. I hear that on the day my daughter went into labor, you kidnapped yourself? Cameras went wild. Lucas forced a smile. Dad, you've misunderstood. That kidnapping was real. I barely escaped with my life. Is that so? My father raised a hand. The giant screen lit up. Surveillance footage played, outside an abandoned factory. Lucas had his arm around the so-called kidnappers, smoking and laughing together. Timestamp, the exact day Grace went into labor. The crowd erupted. Sweat poured down Lucas's forehead. This is fake. Someone's framing me. My father sneered and tapped again. An audio recording played, Lucas's voice from the warehouse. When she gets here, scare her unconscious if you can. If she miscarries, that's even better. Less trouble later. The room exploded. Ivy screamed. That's not real. Lucas is a good man. My father looked at her. You must be the mistress who's pregnant with his child. First, my daughter, Grace Carter, has never had an affair. Every accusation against her was fabricated by Lucas Reed. Second, Lucas Reed is suspected of attempting to murder my daughter Grace, my son Ethan, and of attempting to illegally seize Carter family assets. I have contacted the police and submitted all evidence. Third, he looked directly at Lucas. All assets under your name, including your 3 private hospitals, were illegally transferred during the marriage by exploiting my daughter's trust. They have now all been frozen. Lucas's legs gave out. He collapsed to his knees. No, you can't. He crawled toward my father. Dad, I'm your son-in-law. Grace loves me. She won't sue me. My father kicked him away. Then he looked at me. Grace, come here. I stepped out from the crowd. Every step was under everyone's gaze. I walked to my father and took the microphone. Lucas. I looked at him. The game is over. He looked up. Eyes bloodshot. Grace. I was wrong. Give me one more chance. I ignored him and turned to the crowd. Now, it's my turn. I connected my phone to the big screen. The first photo appeared, my left pinky, wrapped in gauze, soaked in blood. The first year of our marriage. Lucas said he couldn't pay his gambling debts. The creditors wanted a finger. I cut mine off for him. The crowd gasped. The second photo, Ethan lying at the scene of a car crash, covered in blood. In the third year, he said his competitors were trying to kill him. I sent Ethan to his car to retrieve documents. The car had been sabotaged. Ethan was critically injured. He was in a vegetative state for 3 years. The third photo, an ultrasound image. A tiny fetus. In the 5th year, I got pregnant. He said the child wasn't his and forced me to abort. I refused. He pushed me down the stairs. The fourth photo, me in the delivery room. The monitor showing a flatline fetal heartbeat. The 10th time. I was in labor. He pretended to be kidnapped and lured me out. My baby died. One photo after another. With each one, Lucas's face turned a shade paler. When I finished, I turned to him. 8 years. I lost a finger. My brother lost 3 years of his life. I miscarried twice. I nearly died in the delivery room. What did I get in return? The reporters were terrifyingly silent. Lucas suddenly stood up and roared. You did it willingly. I never forced you. You're the one who's disgusting, throwing yourself at me. He pointed at me and wailed to the crowd. Do you know? She can't even have children. Both miscarriages were her own fault. She fell on purpose. She just wanted to trap me with a baby. I was sick of her a long time ago. The public opinion wavered. Someone whispered. It takes two to clap. She was too extreme too. My father tried to speak, but I stopped him. I walked up to Lucas, very close. You're right, I said softly. I was disgusting. So today, I'm curing myself completely. I raised my hand. A hard slap across his face. His head snapped to the side. Blood at the corner of his mouth. This slap is for my finger. Backhanded slap. This one is for my brother. A third slap. This one is for my first child. A fourth slap. And this one is for the child who died today. His face swelled. Eyes filled with hatred. I lowered my hand and stepped back. Now, I said, let's let everyone hear something. I pressed play. The first recording, from the factory on the day I gave birth. Kids can always come later. When she gets here, scare her unconscious. If she miscarries, even better. The second recording, from the hospital corridor. She's just an asset. 8 years is enough. Time to cash out. The third recording, his order to pull the plug, ICU. Pull Ethan Carter's tubes. The hall went dead silent. Then it erupted in furious shouts. Scum! Monster! Cameras locked onto Lucas. Flashes nearly blinding him. Lucas collapsed to the floor, then suddenly scrambled up, grabbing a nearby microphone. Fake! It's all fake! She fabricated those recordings. She's trying to destroy me. He pointed at his assistant. You talk. You were there that day, weren't you? Was I really kidnapped or not? The assistant's face was deathly pale, trembling. Say it! Lucas screamed. The assistant lowered his head and whispered. Boss. I can't lie. Lucas's eyes turned savage. He lunged at him. You were bought off by her too, weren't you? The bodyguards restrained him. He struggled, shouting to the crowd. Don't believe her. She's insane. Her dad's insane. Their whole family just wants to take my money. My father raised a hand. The bodyguards dragged Lucas to the side. My father picked up the microphone. Since you claim the evidence is fake, let's hear from a witness. He looked toward the doorway. Everyone turned. Ethan Carter's attending physician in a white coat stepped in. He held a folder. I am Ethan Carter's doctor, he said. For the past 3 years, Mr. Lucas Reed paid me extra every month to keep Ethan in a coma and to be ready at any time to pull the plug. The documents were projected on the big screen. Transfer records, medical orders, transcripts of recordings, ironclad evidence. Lucas went completely limp. My father nodded to the bodyguards. Take him to the police. They lifted Lucas. Suddenly, Ivy ran forward, clinging to him. You can't take him. He's the father of my child, she cried in heart-wrenching sobs. My father looked at her coldly. You too. Ivy froze. The police entered and handcuffed both of them. The crowd instinctively cleared a path. As they were led out, Lucas turned his gaze toward me. That look, like a poison blade. I didn't flinch. I watched him being taken away. Then I turned toward the cameras. From today, I said, I am Grace Carter. Applause erupted, but I knew it wasn't over yet. After the police took Lucas and Ivy away, the party was cut short. Guests began leaving. My father, Ethan, and I remained. Ethan came over and hugged me. Sis, he said, I'm sorry you had to bear it alone for 3 years. I shook my head. No. I should be the one apologizing to you. My father patted our shoulders. We'll talk at home. We headed toward the exit. Suddenly, the lights went out. The venue plunged into darkness. Bodyguards immediately surrounded us. Boss, watch out! From the darkness came Lucas's laughter. Going home? His voice echoed through the speakers. You're not going anywhere. Emergency lights flickered on. Lucas appeared in the second-floor control room, holding a remote. He'd somehow escaped the police? No, that wasn't Lucas. It was Lucas's twin brother, Leo. I had always known of him, but had never seen him. He looked exactly like Lucas, but his eyes were even more unhinged. Surprised? Leo laughed maniacally. My brother's a useless fool, they got him locked up. But I'm not like him. He pressed the remote. Iron gates dropped at every exit in the venue. We were trapped inside. My dad always said the Carter estate should be ours, the Reeds. Leo said, stepping down, a gun in hand. Today, all 3 of you die here. He raised the gun toward my father. Ethan stepped in front of him. I stood still. If you kill us, I said, you won't get away either. Who said I'm running? Leo laughed. I bought this island. I've arranged a yacht. You die. I sail away. By the time anyone finds out, I'll already be in international waters. He pulled the trigger. Nothing. He froze, pressed again and again. Still nothing. I raised my hand, palm open. A bullet rested there. I had your gun swapped. I said, 3 hours ago. Leo's face went pale, and he tried to flee. The bodyguards tackled him. He struggled, screaming, You think this is over? I'll tell you, the whole island is rigged with bombs. 10 minutes and the entire island blows. He laughed like a madman. We all die together. My father frowned. Bomb squad. It's too late. Leo laughed. 9 minutes left. The remaining guests panicked, rushing to the gates, banging frantically. I looked at my father. Calmly, he took out his phone and dialed. Activate the contingency plan. 30 seconds later, the gates rose automatically. The sound of helicopters approached. The bombs on this island were already dismantled last night. My father said to Leo, The island you bought? No. This island has been Carter property for 3 years. Your brother never told you? Leo's smile froze. The bodyguards dragged him away. My father took Ethan and me. Get on the helicopter. We ran out of the venue and boarded. As we ascended, I saw an explosion on the far side of the island. Small, just a warehouse. Leo's bombs had already been swapped for fireworks. The helicopter flew away from the island. I watched the island shrink beneath us and exhaled softly. 3 days later. Headlines, #Lucas Reed arrested for attempted murder, #Ivy family investigated for money laundering, #Carter group makes triumphant return, #Lucas and Ivy were in custody, awaiting trial. Leo was also detained for illegal possession of firearms and causing mass panic. My father returned to the Carter group and immediately audited all assets. Lucas's 3 hospitals were reclaimed. Every asset he had tried to transfer was recovered. My divorce agreement, handled by our legal team, went into effect immediately. I didn't take a penny from him. I only wanted him stripped of everything. The day I signed, Lucas watched me through the glass at the detention center. He was thin, hollow-eyed. Grace, he said, I'll ask you one last time, did you ever love me? I didn't answer. I turned and walked away. Love? I had loved him, but that love died long ago. Died the day I cut off my finger. Died the day my brother was hit. Died the day my baby was lost. Now, not even ashes remained. 1 month later, on the eve of the trial, The detention center caught fire. The flames raged all night. The next day's news: Lucas Reed, Ivy, and Leo died in the fire. Police investigation claimed old wiring, but I knew better. It was my father's doing. He never left loose ends. I didn't ask for details. I didn't need them. I only needed to know they were gone. Everything was over. 3 months later, I was sitting in the chairman's office of the Carter Group. My father had handed the seat over to me. "You're tougher than I am," he said. "Perfect for this position." On my first day, I fired everyone Lucas had planted in the company. On the second day, I merged all the assets under the Reed name. On the third day, I established a foundation dedicated to helping women escape abusive marriages. The media called me the Iron Queen. I didn't care. Ethan had fully recovered and decided to study abroad. "Sis," he said as he approached, "you need to be happy." I nodded. "You too." At the airport, he hugged me. "Don't worry about me," he said. "I've grown up." I watched his tall, straight-backed figure walk through security. He really had grown up. My father stepped back from the day-to-day, occasionally coming to the office, but mostly spending time at the nursing home with my mother. She had dementia and barely recognized anyone. But my father went every day. "She was stubborn, just like you," he said. I smiled. On the weekend, I went to the cemetery. I set up a small headstone for the child I never got to hold. No name, just one line: "You came." I know. I laid a bouquet of white flowers. I stood there for a long time. Then I left. A year later, the Carter Group had become an industry leader. I graced the cover of a financial magazine. Headline: "From housewife to CEO of a business empire." During the interview, the reporter asked, "Do you ever regret it? All you sacrificed for that marriage?" I said, "No regrets. But I won't sacrifice again." The reporter asked, "Do you still believe in love?" I replied, "I believe in strength." The day the magazine hit shelves, I received an email. It was from Ethan, a photo of him in a foreign lab, grinning widely. Postscript: "Sis, I got the scholarship. Next time we meet, I'll treat you to a meal." I replied, "Okay." I closed the laptop and walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows. The city spread beneath me, lights glittering like stars. 8 years ago, I had cut off my finger here, thinking I could trade it for love. 8 years later, I stood here, holding power in my hands. I was no longer Grace Reed. I was Grace Carter. I no longer needed anyone to save me. I was my own salvation. My phone rang. It was my father. "Shareholders meeting tomorrow. Be ready." Got it. I hung up and continued gazing out at the city. The night wind blew in, cool against my skin, but I didn't close the window. I liked this wind. It reminded me that I was alive. Alive and free. The rest of my life was long. I would no longer sacrifice. I would take everything I deserve.